without further ado, I want to introduce our speakers tonight. We're very honored to have Murray and Drew with us. They're both journalists, marketers, they are authors, and their newest book is called Startup PR book.
How to get PR for your startup traction.
Okay.
And the URL is startup PR.
There you go. So that's what, how to get the coverage, basically, right? And I.
What's the URL?
Startup PR book.
Jessica.com.
Jessica.
Forgetting that part. But
That's yeah, I know. Like, who knows, you know? Whitehouse.com, right? So don't go there. Not here. So also Murray, he has an agency, a marketing agency called Influence People. Drew is also COO at the company. They do online marketing and SEO. It's called Audience Bloom. But they have written dozens and dozens of articles that have been published in Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, Huffington Post, VentureBeat. And tonight they're going to talk about how to get the media attention, right? What does it take? And also tell us a little bit about their activity in marketing and online marketing. Like, what would get you that Technorati article or VentureBeat article or Forbes article. So why don't we give it up for Murray and Drew? Before we get started, I want to ask you, what is an alien of extraordinary ability?
Okay.
Because he got his green card as an alien of extraordinary ability. So I'm very curious about that.
So I was doing online marketing in different capacities, and boy meets girl, I was working in the UK and between the UK and US markets. And I found out, and I wanted to come to America to be with this girl. I found out you could get a visa as a famous alien. And so I set up a blog, it became really successful, huge traffic. I got a book deal, speaking around the world, and press about me in lots of places. And so that's how I sort of started on this route. And then the more places I wrote for, the more places I was invited to write for. And as I was doing that journey, CEOs of companies said, "You're great at getting PR for you. Can you do this for me and my company?" And that's how I started doing press for companies. I got my green card. I convinced the US government that I was a famous alien. And that's how I got here. And it's been a fascinating journey. So several things. I kind of 50,000 Twitter followers and a large online presence. I didn't set out to become famous because I was ego-driven. I set out to get a visa. Also, I set out specifically to get press about me. That was my goal, because one of the criteria is to have lots of press about you, and it has to be press in large publications. So in that sense, I've been a startup, and I've done that journey. And now I write for, written for The Guardian, VentureBeat, Inc, Entrepreneur, just about to start for another major publication. And I know lots of press across America and around the world, in fact.
So I guess next month we're going to say how to become a U.S. legal alien.
Yeah, citizenship.
That's the next meetup, okay?
The next meetup. So, the first question is, why do you want to get press? So I think that probably there are two main reasons why, well, there are several reasons why startups want to get press. One is that they want to get funding. And getting press is part of the portfolio that you would put in your pitch deck for getting investor funding. It's seen as a part of getting traction for your company. Definitely, I know people who are trying to do it for that basis. Two is that if you get the right press, it's potentially possible to get customers through that, customer acquisition. I would say that generally people who try and get press for customer acquisition aren't necessarily as pleased by that as they think that if they get lots of, like, in a couple of articles in big places, they will get lots of customers. It's not necessarily the case. Particularly with TechCrunch, for example, you can get, there's sort of known as the TechCrunch effect. If you get an article on TechCrunch, you will get lots of traffic, you will get lots of registrations. Those people register for lots of things every day and they like to try things, and they'll be on your business site for a couple of days and then you will never see them again. They were not interested in your topic, they're interested in startups. There's a huge difference between someone who is interested in startups and looking at things and someone who's an actual customer. The other reason people want press is for what I call the last mile. So someone's coming to your website, they've managed to come there, however you've got them there, and they're thinking about buying from you. And having the logo of TechCrunch or wherever it is on your site helps to convince them that they should buy from you. It's another purpose. The other thing, I suppose, is that it does help with SEO, and when people are deciding if they're going to buy from you or not, they will search your name, and if they see, well, there's two things. When they will search your name, they will put the brand name, not just the URL in Google, and when they see positive articles in nice places, it also gives more reinforcement. The other thing is, if you've got lots of nice reviews by nice publications and your name is in them quite a bit, then they'll rank for you. The nightmare is that your competitor is good at PR, and you and them are in the article, and every time someone searches for they find your competitors. So from my perspective, that's the kind of topic areas that we were discussing. I see some nodding heads with that. So that, coming back to the first question, that's my story. That's how I got started. I set up a blog and I got that going. Now, Roger kindly explained a scenario which he had today and why it's applicable to you. So I would say if you're starting to think about PR, sorry, I'll bring you in there.
Please.
So I do a lot more public speaking than Drew does. So the first thing to think about is, what is your story? Okay? I told you my story because it conveys that I got lots of press, and that's why potentially you might want to listen. The first thing you need to think about is, what is your story and why should I care? Like, that's number one thing, is why should I care? How is your, now I don't care that you have a new widget. I really don't care. And no one cares that you have a new widget. The question is, how are you solving real problems in real people's lives? Are you changing the world? What are you doing to change the world? And that's the first thing you need to think about. And you need to work out how you can convey that. If you look at articles about companies, a lot of the time it is, how are they changing the world? Now, you could say, you know what, my product does not give starving people food. I'm not solving world hunger. If you can solve world hunger and you can have that as a story, that's great. My product is not solving world hunger. It is a SaaS product that helps people, sells people sell more. Okay, that's my story. But you need to tell the story of that. I spoke to a guy, and he was actually speaking. He was speaking about PR, and I just came at the end of it, so I didn't see it all. And I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I sell boots and gloves online." I'm like, "You were just speaking about how you get a lot of PR. How do you do that?" He said, "Here's the thing. I sell boots, jackets, and gloves to firemen. Firemen have amazing stories, and that's what people care about. They don't care about my boots and gloves." It's the same with, for example, if you're going to launch an app, I don't care that you're going to launch an app. No one cares that you're going to launch an app. What is that app going to do to change people's lives? That's what you need to work out. Then, how do you get press about that? Well, here's the thing. I am a writer for a publication and I write about a specific topic. I have to write about it over and over again. That's what my editor allows me to write about. That's what my column is about. That's what my audience cares about. What you need to do is say, okay, here is my story, and find out who writes columns, who writes content about that audience. Because you're not trying to convince me that this is a great story. What you want to do is convince me that my audience will love this story. That's the ultimate goal. Okay, I know that you write about this and your audience will be super passionate about it. So if you write about it, your audience will love it, they will share it, they'll be deeply engaged with it. So that's what you're trying to do with getting PR for your story. Okay? Like as I say, your product might be, Dreamforce is on. Salesforce is a software platform to help salespeople sell. No one cares. People don't like salespeople. Salespeople, though, care about this passionately, and this makes their lives better. And journalists who write about the sales vertical, and there's lots of them in major publications as well as smaller publications, they write about that topic and they care about that topic. And your job is to find the people that write passionately about that topic for your audience and how your audience is going to change those people's lives. And one of the best ways to do that is to find stories about users and say, here's a user story, here's how it's going to change their life. Now, here's something else as well. It's very unlikely that they're going to write about your company. Very unlikely they're going to write about your company. But here's what they are going to write about. They're probably much more passionate about how, we'll stick with that analogy. They might write about tools that are changing salespeople's lives. And you're part of that story, not that whole story. One thing that editors hate with a passion is anything that looks like an advert. A story on a thing that's happening because the audience hate it, a story that's happening about trends within a industry is much more likely to be accepted by the audience and much more likely to be accepted by the editor. So don't pitch, this is my widget, pitch, my widget is changing people's lives, but pitch, salespeople's lives are changing because of mobile. My product fits within that because it does this. And here's basically a whole story that you could write, and here's how I would fit within that. And I read your column, I believe your audience within that column, within that publication would love this. Everyone asks me about press releases. Okay,
I'm still wonderful. I'm doing perfect.
So we have
over
Drew here, a U.S. citizen of extraordinary ability. Right?
Yeah, I'm from Kansas.
What do you think about press releases, Drew?
So overall press releases, every time I get one, it's the same thing over and over. Someone's seeing an article I wrote that day or 2 days ago, and they're mentioning it briefly. They've probably never seen anything else I've read before. They just have some Twitter things going off that let them know to contact me. And everyone always says, do you want to speak with my CEO? No, I don't. Because same thing, you're just going to be wrapped up in a list with 6, 7 other tools generally, just because, yeah, if I'm going to post an article like, here's so-and-so CEO and their product, no one really cares to read that. It's probably going to make an editor pretty angry as well because it's just a full advertisement. But if you can just give me like a nice story idea, how well your product works with other products, or how your product and another product go hand in hand to enhance a user's experience with whatever they're doing, then you're actually going to grab my attention. But every day I get 10 plus emails, do you want to talk to my CEO? No, I don't. I'm just going to delete you and probably mark you as spam. So when you're contacting press or editors or anyone else, make sure that it's relevant with your field, of course. You don't want to contact me at Forbes pitching your lawn mowing service. You know, find your niche, contact the appropriate person. LinkedIn, you know, is always a great way to find the appropriate editor on who you need to pitch. And then just come with a story, because if you're just going to contact me or any other editor asking if I want to speak to your CEO, it's probably going to be no, because at any given time I have 5 other stories I'm working on, and I can't take 30 minutes out of my day to listen to your CEO give me a sales pitch.
Um,
So-
just